if you're listening in. Absolute. Oh. Words cannot describe. At the minute. He's sorting out the custom grid. Right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back, yes, again, to TTML, not League of Europe, to TTML Division 5 action. We are here in France, and as you can tell, Deja Vu has hit us once again from last week, because I can stream all of a sudden, which is fantastic. Had a few issues trying to get signed in, but we are here. Dan is here, and sadly, Dan, I'm going to have to love you and leave you for about 2 minutes, because I've got to go downstairs.
Please, quickly, can I have a lobby invite before you go?
Oh, you haven't got an invite, have you? Deary me, I'm sitting here thinking, oh, he's already in the lobby. No, he's not. Right, there you are.
Thank you very much.
We've got 15 drivers currently within the lobby, so hopefully all of those guys. I've noticed that Shumi I don't think is here at the minute. He was having connection issues. Schmitsky's just joined in as well, so we should be going very soon indeed. Passels is raring to go there in the Renault, but I will be back very shortly indeed. So Dan, you can talk about whatever you want while I'm away.
I'm not sure giving me that much freedom is very good, but I will stick to the I'll stick to the general plan. Yes. Wait, it's scripted now? Okay. Oh, we weren't supposed to say that, weren't we?
Yeah, I was supposed to send it through to you at the beginning of the stream, but we didn't. We didn't have time.
Right, okay. Okay, so James has left us just for the time being, guys, so we'll get back to things very shortly, I'm sure. So I guess what's appropriate to do now is that we're going to run through what the grid will be. Of course, a custom grid is being set up by our lobby host Invictus, who I am one barring to, so that's not a very good sign. I think that James was reporting the same sort of issue just behind as well in the last lobby we did. But I will run us through the qualifying order. The grid order that we're going to be running in front of this race. So, of course, Invictus qualified on pole position by some margin in the end. Of course, it's going to be in a different car because he was in the Red Bull last time because he didn't select it in the lobby. So, he is now going to be in his usual McLaren ahead of this one. Jack Roos, Renault driver, will join him on the first row of the grid. Then behind that is Closen, who had a very, very impressive debut, qualifying third. Rock City joins him on the second row, fourth, just in front of his teammate Mays, championship leader down in fifth, joined on that third row by Tornheim. Behind that, I hope you guys are keeping up with this okay on the stream. We have Nilsson behind seventh, seeing Rambo behind that in eighth, who was an early leader in qualifying, but I think he had a few connection issues that held him back from doing any better. Freak Frank and Satmi Kingroud at the top 10, they'll all be starting on soft tyres. Assuming everyone picks the same tyre strategy for the race, it's not always the case. In fact, it wasn't even the case last time out in Baku when we had this exact same issue. Apparently, I'm just looking at the lobby, we have 3 spectators. We have me, James, and I don't know who else. It's not saying anyone else. I think that may be Storm because he hasn't selected the car yet, but I can assure you that we'll just be the two of us for that. We'll keep running through the grid order though, so outside the top 10. Of course, a free choice of tyre for the race. Their advantage is going to be slightly nullified, however, ahead of this one, because of the lack of Parc Fermé. It means that the top 10 will start on, I'm certain, still soft tyres, but they'll be completely fresh, so their disadvantage will be a little bit less. But outside the top 10, Passels and Shumi, who start on medium and hard tyres respectively, on the 6th row of the grid. Then on the 7th row you have Hulkenberg and Silas, on the 8th row Shimetsky and Jimmy Storm, and at the back of the grid on the 9th row of the grid you have Storm, not to be confused with Jimmy Storm, and then right at the rear of the field is going to be Maka. He starts on the hard tyres. Everyone else outside the top 10 besides him and Shumi are going to be on the mediums. I believe I can hear Mr. James Head coming back to join us. The custom grid's being set up, so you haven't missed any action, James. I just had a bit of time to run through the grid order and all the tyre choices ahead of the race, which hopefully gets on the way very shortly. We can get it going for good this time.
Yeah, and hopefully nobody will run on the different tyre either. Top 10, of course, having to start on the set of soft compound of tyre. Believe it was Maka and Shumi that were on a set of hard compound of tyres. So they need to start on the hards. Everyone else has to start on the medium compound of tyres. And you, my friend, need to get into spectate mode as well.
Oh, am I not there? Oh, I didn't.
No.
I actually had it selected before. I'm not sure how exactly I'm not sure how I deselected it, but yeah, that's. Thank you for reminding me that. That would have been a bit embarrassing.
Yeah, he was going to be the 19th driver out on track, a late signee from Division 2. Division 2? From Liga Group Division 1 down to the pittance of TTML Division 5. I'll let everyone make their own judgments on that. But, coming into tonight, Rock City won last time out, of course. Nella second, Zero in third. Maze leads the standings. Jack Roos in second on 70 points. Maze on 77. Invictus, many numbers, in third on 57. Nellis in fourth with Jibby Storm on 52 points. Then we've got Schmitsky on 49. Sapmi King on 46. Passels on 44. Zero on 43. And Rock City in 10th on 40 points. They fell out the top 10. Steen Ramble 33, Silas 29, Bart not here, he's on 24. So the Blessed not here either, he's on 23. Storm and Free Gronk are tied in 15th on 22. Jeffrey 17th on 16. Torenheim 18th on 15. And Maka and Hulkenberg tied for 19th position on 8 points. And looking at those standings, May's obviously out in front, pole position. I believe he out-qualified Jack Roos, Jack Roos out-qualified Maze, I should say, in that session. So it's going to be fascinating to see.
Yeah, Jack Roos started on the front row, I believe, alongside Invictus, and Maze was down in 5th place behind his teammate Rock City. So yeah, there's definitely going to be a lot of work to do for Maze, but there's one thing that you have to say is that he has, I'd say, with the exception of last time out in Baku, been remarkably consistent this season. So we'll see if that's going to translate to this one. I think his teammate Rock City hasn't quite at that same level of consistency, but is still I think going strong if he can turn things around a bit today. We are now getting ready though for the race. We are just gearing up for things in. Only 2 more drivers left to ready up and we can get into things then. So here we go then. The 5th round of the championship at the second time of asking. Hopefully we'll get underway with no issues and we can get hopefully what's going to be a great race underway here at France.
And there we are, we ready up 2 seconds early. Thank you to that one person still within the lobby that didn't ready up. He has now readied up. Maka saying, they didn't accept my proposal for a reverse grid with a very sad face. Yeah, no reverse grid action apart from TTML F2, which is now obviously the Sprint League. F2 used to run the reverse grid format. We should be bringing that back in some sort, I think, later on, which I don't know if we're bringing it back, to be honest, but I'm just saying if we are bringing it back, then it does run a reverse grid, and we've got a lot in the pipeline for next season, as well as we're frantically going on behind the scenes already for preparations for next season, and I cannot say any more than that. I was going to say something else, but I cannot say any more than that. Otherwise, I will be at liberty to have my contract terminated here on TTML, and this might be the last commentary you'll ever see of me. But
I wonder who would take your place then, as in your role. I think that's a story for another time.
I think Kieran McGinley could be a good shout for until the end of the season, maybe. I don't know. Well, we'll see if David over here decides to go for that lead commentator's role when I eventually hang up my commentator microphone here in TTML. But thank you very much to everyone. Big thank you to everyone that is tuning in here. 7 viewers currently. Let's get that up a little bit. It's Division 5. We're stuck in lockdown. It's a Friday night. I'm your commentator, James Head. Alongside me, of course, is Mr. Daniel Huggard. And Dan, we are here at Le Castellet in France. And we've reached 700 subscribers on the channel.
I just clocked that. Just going back there, I think we were 699 just before we started this stream. So I think it's us I think we've turned it over the edge then. So well done to us. But also, thanks for the support, everyone. That means a lot. 700 subscribers. That's and that's quite a handy amount, and that's good to look forward to in the future. I'm just checking the order.
Everyone's on the same tyres.
Everyone's fine. Yep.
Everyone on the same tyres. Now, the only effect that we have from qualifying is that these guys in the top 10 won't be starting on their one compound of tyres because it's a new lobby, and it says it's a one-stop strategy. Lap 12 to lap 15 on a set of mediums to a set of hards for Invictus. That's completely wrong because he's on a set of soft compound of tyres, so that is completely blown out the water already. But these guys are on fresh compound of tyres. Now, the advantage, I guess, for the top 10 is that they're going to begin to pull away from the medium runners, and Shumi and Mac obviously being the exception rather than the rule. But those mediums can last a hell of a lot longer than that set of soft compound of tyres, because I think, as I said, but before we obviously have to restart the lobby and restart the stream and everything like that, it's about a 40% wear rate up to about 6 or 7 laps into the stint. So these guys have got to be careful for their tyre management.
Oh yes, certainly, and I expect the soft tyres, they are not a particularly good race tyre, and I can foresee maybe around that kind of time period that you mentioned that they're going to start stropping back, and then they want to try and get the tyres off. One thing this does of course advantage the soft runners in a way, just because they don't have to comply with park permit because there's no qualifying for this lobby, so they'll be starting on completely fresh tyres that they didn't have to qualify on. So that means they'll have a bit more tyre grip and relative to those around them throughout particularly the start of the stints. Keep an eye out for that in the early laps here at Paul Ricard in France. So we are now gearing up for things then. Invictus, Jatros, they're going to take their spots on the front row. It's a relatively long run heading into turn 1, so the start is going to be quite important. Make sure that you get off the line well, maybe pick up some slipstreams. It can get quite tight down there, so hopefully everyone keeps it clean. We can get things going yet again. Invictus is going to need a good one. Try and maintain that lead from Jatros heading towards the first corner.
Don't think you're getting away with it. Who's your top 3?
I tried to ramble on for as long as possible. I'll say Invictus. I'll say Klausen. I think has a good debut in him and Maze for the podium. Let's see how that works out, though.
Here we go then. The 5 red lights will eventually go out here in Le Castellane, France for round 5 of the championship. I hope we're not getting a sense of deja vu at all, but we should have 5 red lights going out very soon indeed. The green flags are certainly flashing on towards the right-hand side of the pit wall. I'm on board with Invictus. There is Invictus's view all the way down the field. Jack Roos, Clausen, Rock City and the likes in behind. And it looks like we're going to go for a no-go here tonight for the second time lucky. We're not going to be getting going, it seems. Somebody is causing more issues. Predicted pit stop strategy, though. Lap 12 to 15, as I say, mediums to hards. Lap 7 to 9, set of softs to a set of mediums. They can last around, as I say, 7 laps before they really begin to fall off the cliff here tonight. 18 drivers are on the grid, and they're all waiting for this race to begin. But I have a feeling within us all Storm leaving. Oh, we get back underway, so we're waiting on Storm. But as everybody jumps the start, it's a lights out and away we go, and a lights glitch completely off the line there, and a crash already in the background. But Jack Roos has got a tremendous start. Look at how many penalties though that people have picked up, and a Haas leads down in towards turn 1. Is that Hulkenberg that leads down in towards turn 1? It's a great start if it is. And now, no, it's not Hulkenberg, it's Clausen. Clausen leads the way down in towards turn 1. You can probably appreciate why we are so confused as to the order. Invictus right behind Jack Roos for second and third. Nelson is fourth. There's a spinner in the background there. That was a Mercedes, I think, round. That was Rock City, I think, getting caught up in a little bit of an incident, maybe with Torenheim. But towards the end of the first sector, there is the correct order, and it's Clausen who leads from Jack Roos second, Invictus in third. Jack Roos is not a tenth of a second off Clausen, but Clausen gets a tremendous start. Everyone, as you see, with the black and white diagonals, have all got drive-through penalties. Free Gronk, Torenheim, Rock City, Steen, all have got penalties off the start, and it's the same deal with Division 2.
That is rather peculiar that we're seeing all those drive-through penalties. We'll see, of course, where they all elect to serve that. I believe they have to within the first 3 laps of the race. I can see Clausen getting a little bit out of shape there down the field. Maka and Tornheim are battling it up the field there. I think that's Storm losing places. Storm, I think that's his AI car, dropping back through the field then and losing a few spots. So of course that Alfa Romeo is going to drop a little bit further down the field in due course. So everyone just starting to form into line. We'll see, of course, we do see Fruit Bronk actually staying out with that drive through as though into the pits. Ahead comes Sammy Keg in the Ferrari, so he must got damage. Well, that first lap now comes in, and after a relatively decent start, drops well down the field. We have a very busy pit lane there, along with all the people serving drive-throughs at the end of that first lap.
pretty much all the OWR drivers, apart from Schumi, have all came into the pits. That's Torenheim, Zapmi King, Rock City, Stian Rambo, who used to be an NSR driver, now with ODD. He is also into the pit lane as well. Schmitsky and NSR Storm go side by side, but NSR Storm, obviously, his AI car, doing valiantly there in 11th position. Free Gronk is the only one to come into the pit lane that hasn't served a penalty just yet. But Clausen leads. Salas picks up the first time penalty of the night, 3 seconds for him out on track, but it's Clausen who leads. Javru second, Invictus in third. You can probably appreciate why we were so confused. The graphics had glitched. Everything had pretty much glitched, I think, out on track. But Clausen leads from Javru second, and Invictus in third. But Javru just appears to me as if he's getting closer now to the back of Clausen. 5.5 tenths separate as he come through turn 10.
He definitely was about a second back halfway through the first lap, so he's beginning to claw that back. Indeed, of course, DRS will be activated on the next lap. The first activation will be on the Mistral Straight between turns 7 and 8. And that's when Jack Russell will have his first go at things further down the field. I think that's Silas getting a little bit out of shape. He's wheel to wheel with Jimmy Storm. Now the inside line.
Beautiful.
Jimmy Storm holds it around the outside though. On the brakes, gets it stopped and turned and he maintains P7. And brother Silas, who picked up that penalty on the last lap, or earlier next lap I should say, into the pits comes to Freak Frog. He is now serving that drive-through penalty that he picked up then. Invictus fast slaps flying, and look at Jack Roos now. The top three beginning to converge, and also not over either as Nilsson. He's right with it. Clausen doesn't get the best run over turn 2, and Jack Roos and the Renault's charging. Is he going to go over the inside of turn 3? That's risky. That's bold. Is he going to be fruitful though? They're wheel to wheel again, going through turn 4 outside line, turns to inside for Jack Roos. Can he claim the race leader? Clausen is squeezed onto the car on the outside, and it's a great move from Jack Roos. Invictus tries to get up and alongside, gets cut off. DRS now reacting for the first time. Invictus has an incredible run. Such great momentum. Draws alongside and past Clausen. And he may get Jack Roos as well here. He's got such a great run of momentum. As Clausen makes it 3 wide on the inside. Backs out of it last minute. And Invictus somehow claims the lead. Nilsson gets past Clausen as well. Clausen's still 3 places in 1. Jack Roos trying to pay back and Invictus, but Invictus using the overtake to defend. Nilsson has used the absolute last of his overtake to try and get himself into that fight. So what an incredible sequence. Invictus from third to first just like that. Took advantage of the situation brilliantly. Now the pole center is back in the race, so he can try and use that to maybe pull away there. Invictus back to the front of the field.
And I'm glad to report he's in the right car as well. You might have seen before we obviously cut away, he was in a Red Bull. He's now in the right car. He's in the McLaren and he's scoring points currently, 30 of them out on track as it stands. Jack Roos right on the back of him. Jack Roos actually outscoring Mays at this point. Jack Roos would take the championship lead because Mays is down there in 5th. Clausen's got a tremendous run out the final corner, uses up the overtake mode to good effect. Nilsson is now going to come back at him pretty much like a drag race down and towards turn 1, but Clausen is through and he's up into 3rd position. Easy to like from the day, who is a reserve here, making his debut in Division 5. I was going to say Division 3, but he's now up into 3rd position. Parcells has got a good exit as well on Silas coming out to turn 2. Silas hops over the curb and actually pulls away from him in the end. So Parcells now has right on the back from him. Silas has only got a 3-second time penalty. Everyone else who had drive-thrus have served them out on track. So it's Silas that's only got the penalty.
And just look at the gap then between Mays and Jimmy Storm. The gap between the top 5 and essentially the rest of the field. The medium runners got held up hugely at the start, and now the gap from 5th to 6th is tremendous. Look at that, over 7 seconds separates Mays and Jimmy Storm. So Jimmy Storm has been completely dropped in that, has made a great move on Silas of course a few laps ago, but now it's got to try and bridge that when the soft runners, their tires start to go off. So really, that just chaotic start with all the jump starts, the incidents, the penalties, everything that went down back there. Parcells is attacking Silas round the outside of turn 10. Can he get that one done? They are still wheel to wheel into 11 then. Silas on the inside gets another penalty, but forces Parcells to back off. Parcells gets a nicer exit though, heading for turn 12, but Silas will just about hold it, and almost into the back of him goes Parcells. He just went out to say that's backer. Down the inside, forces Schmetsky off the track. That was so aggressive from Maka. I'm not sure if the stewards are going to have something to say about that, but Maka does get through on the hard tires. He's driving a great start to this race. He's now letting up Parcells, and Maka from the back of the grid is charging and now looking at 7th place directly in his sights here.
Maze is latching onto the back of the front four, really. Invictus now pulling away 1.5 seconds. But Javaruz, Klaus and Nilsson have got Maze now latching onto the back of them. And Maze looks a man on a mission, currently out on track. Jippy Storm currently in 6th. Sardas 7th. Maka and Passel. That incident with Maka and Schmidtsky, I'm sure, will get investigated. There'll be a report put in to our stewards, of course, our professional stewards here in TTML. Clausen tries to close up on Javaruz once again. I don't think he's close enough. Maka, however, is very close. As we ride on board with Passold. Passold's still there in 8th. Maka in 9th. He's got a lot of overtake mode up to use now. And Schmidtsky right on the back of him as well. Not using up any overtake mode of running down the straight. In fact, it's going to remain as we are. 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th. Maka down the inside, trying to force it. I wonder if there's a bit of a desync going on maybe with Maka and the field, and that's why he's trying to force the cars. I don't think he can possibly see Passels out on track. He was talking about desync cars. I wonder why.
Yeah, you can see there he's red barring as well, so I do think there is a bit of a connection issue. That's why you're seeing these rather absurd moves from Maka. I think the cars are in a different place. It's closing into the pit lane very early, and that means and Maze, and are they committing possibly to two-stop strategy here, or are they going to pit for the hards here on lap 4?
Mace is going in for a set of mediums, that's for certain. I've just seen them in the Mercedes pit garage. And now Clausen has got a yellow wall compound of tyre out as well. Ooh. And he's also going on to a set of medium compound of tyres. He should join ahead of Maze. Yeah, easily ahead of Maze. And Maze, in fact, then got held up slightly within the pit lane, possibly there. But running down towards turn 1, pretty much as we are. Maka trying to get through now on Salas, making good ground through the field, actually, Maka. He's in P6. Whether you can see the drivers around him is another thing, but we'll take it from our point of view. Schmidt's got a tremendous run on Passels down the inside and towards turn 3, but he doesn't go for the move, and rightfully so. I think there would have been contact there, and Clausen is right on the back of his teammate Hulkenberg as well.
Yeah, so Klaus is now going to try and make the most of that there, coming out of the pit lane. He's got to try and put some cars between himself and Maze, and he can start over with his teammate Hulkenberg as they line up. Coming out of turn 7, they're closing immediately to the outside of 7. Can he run out of space there on the outside? He's getting squeezed right to the edge of the track, but Clausen will make it stick up the field. Maka round the outside, gets that 5th place away from Silas. Silas back on the overthink, he's trying to fight back, and the Ferrari there maybe draw alongside. But Maka has more ERS to use to defend, and surely will maintain P5 now out on track. Frank Bronk is now battling away with Hulkenberg, and Maze right there as well. Hulkenberg is stuck, isolated on that outside line, and has yielded to the Williams on the offence. And they said, look at Maze, round the outside, gets squeezed off the track. Can he get out to turn 11? Maze sweeps around the outside and now runs in a 13th place. Nilsson now comes in from 3rd place. We'll get onto hard tires, so a different strategy being run. I'm wondering here as Invictus gets a penalty from the lead of the race. So the penalties already starting to rack up. It is a track. We're staying on the track. It's a bit more difficult than usual, I'd say. But what are Maze and Clausen going to do on strategy? This is very interesting. Where will they come out, first of all, relative to the cars that are better? Nilsson will definitely, surely, as Clausen there is lighting up. That's Nilsson, yeah, and he does come out as Maze now, laying up Frank Bronk to the inside of turn 1, and will make that move stick up in a 12th place. So he moves through now as Nilsson in his sights there on the hards. I'm interested to see, do you think that Clausen and Maze can possibly toot those tires to the end of the race without any safety cars? Is that a possibility if they can keep them on the island and try and use the tires the extra grip initially to maybe overwhelm the hard runners out there on the front?
Mediums, I think, from experience, and looking at the Division 2 race last night, some of the mediums only last 10 to 12 laps out on track. So if that's the case, they're going to be going on possibly to a set of soft compound and tyres later on in the race. Stian Ramble now chasing down Hulkenberg. This is for 14th position, but still within the points, of course. All 18 positions, as you see out on track, will pick up points. And Stian Ramble sails through on the inside. Now on the outside line, gets the move done through the chicane. Norton, he's through and he's up into 14th position. Parcells is right on the back as well. Schmidtsky for 7th out on track. This is actually for 6th. And Salas just in front of these guys as well. And Invictus is into the pit lane. I do apologise to Invictus. I did get my McLarens wrong there.
But we'll see on this occasion where Invictus is going to emerge. Is it a wing change? No, that's just sitting in reserve, that wing. There was a little bit of confusion with the camera angles. But it's going to be medium tyres as well for Invictus, and I think we might be seeing a lot of two-stop strategies in amongst this lead group, which is going to get very intriguing as to what it's going to cause. Clausen does move past the AI car of Storm, but where will Invictus come out though? Of course, he was up in the front of the race. He's going to just about maintain that in front of Shumi. Clausen down the inside. Can he get up on stop the turn, and he does, but he gets a penalty. So he has that cost as well. Moving past the Red Bull, Invictus just about held on to that net race lead. Now has to make the overtakes work though. He's on the back of Passos, on the back of Shimetsky, on the back of Silas. Let's see how quickly he can clear these cars, and maybe he can put some distance between himself and the chasing pack.
He's in the worst possible scenario, I think. He's in traffic. Clausen behind him isn't. He is now right on the back of Invictus, but Invictus in turn is right on the back of Passos and goes through Schmitsky. Just in front of these guys, going to go through, and Salas down towards the chicane node, and Schmitsky is through and he's up into P4. Salas nearly runs into the back of him, and Invictus nearly runs into the back of Salas. A little bit of a Constantinum going on. Nulson is through an NSR Storm's AI car. NSR Storm's AI car is doing a fantastic job replicating Day Miles from earlier on last season in Russia. Invictus right on the back of Salas. He backs out of the move coming through turn 10, but he runs in that dirty air, and the more he runs in that dirty air, the more he is going to really feel the effects. And Clausen is now trying to look at Passels up towards turn 12. He could try and think about it around the outside the Dane, but he doesn't think about it. Switching back, can he get the move done? And Victor's is on the inside as well as Silas, just ahead of these guys, and that's perfect from Clausen. He disposed of Passels, and now look who he's right on the back of. Invictus, as he tries to go around the outside, he'll switch it back, but Silas hangs him out to dry, and it could be 3 wide running down the straight. Silas just about having the power off, as Jab Roos is going to come out the pit lane any second now to the right hand side. There he is, and Invictus down the inside of Silas. Can he get the move done? Silas is on the inside line, nearly touch in terms of the wings, but Invictus is through. Didn't leave any room there at all, but Invictus had the car ahead crucially, and he's through, and he's up into 4th.
He did exactly what he needed to do there, because now Silas is still on the way. Clausen trying to attack him round the outside of turn 5. Going to get squeezed out there though. Well off the track. Rejoined to the turn 6. Still wheel to wheel. Carries the speed around and will get the move done. But is he going to be at the mercy of a DRS attack there? He will still. No, he does not have the DRS to defend himself. He's using the last of his overtake and his DRS to try and maintain it. But Silas is coming back again to the inside of the chicane. Can he get it stopped there for turn 8? They're right outside. And he's spinning. Silas makes contact with Clausen and spears off to the side. What have you seen?
Passol's caught up in that as well. I think he's got damage. Jack Roos was caught up in that, and now Nulson on the side of Hart has came into play and has overtaken Schumi, and indeed Mays, as Mays tries to go around the outside of Schumi, and that is Schumi backing out of that completely. I think fair play to him. Mays right on the back of Nulson. Look at how many penalties these guys have picked up out on track. Schmitsky has now been overtaken by Invictus. Didn't even see that on my graphics. Invictus now through and he's up into 3rd position. There on the penalty situation. 3 seconds for Invictus, Clausen, Passels, 5 for Nilsson, 3 for Schumi, 9 seconds for Sala, 6 seconds for Torenheim out on track. And if you remember what I said in terms of my top 3, yeah, look where Rock City is.
That's not exactly great there back there. The Frank goes into the power line. Jatros now attacking passes his teammate, but look at the distance that Invictus has pulled out on Clausen as well. So Jatros really struggling to live with that at the moment, and he now gets past Passos up into 6th place, and he's got an awful long way to go to catch up with the net race leaders now. So Passos down into 7th. Nilsson now the leading hard runner, attacking in 8th as Mays runs very wide in the background and should be trying to get up to him then. Mays is going to try and make the most of it. He needs to get past these guys soon enough to make those mediums work out, and he may have a chance soon enough then. But Nilsson is very close to the back of Passos, surely lighting him up, going down the straight, tries to draw alongside, but he's not quite got the overspeed on him there. Now to the inside, but he's got 0 ERS. He might still get this done though. On the brakes, Nilsson claims the inside line and gets the place sorted out, and he now runs 7th. Passos, massive oversteer coming over turn 9, and straight into the wall, out the race, and there's a full course yellows. This is a safety car.
It's a VSE. VSE has been deployed out on track, so now the guys will operate at 40% running out on track, but Passos into the wall, out to the race.
Where Jimmy Storm is?
And Jimmy Storm? Yeah, he's in first, and is he coming into the pit lane? No, he stays out. He stays out, but I wonder how long this VSE is going to be out for. I think, personally, it's a good call, because it's not a full safety car, and he can now stick to his delta time while everyone else has got to stick to theirs. Maka is into the pit lane, but Passos' car is gone, which indicates to me we're going to be racing very, very shortly indeed. Jimmy Storm out in front, Invictus in second. It's now essentially the snail against the tortoise.
Here we go then, we are back to Green Flag Racing on lap 11 here at Paul Ricard. So Jimmy Storm is now isolated up at the front. I'm not sure what's what's so funny out here, James.
It's the hare against the tortoise. Sorry, not the snail against the tortoise. Goodness me, that'd be a totally different race.
Yeah, that would be that'd be one that I'd certainly pay good money to see, though. That's for sure. Let's focus more on the car v car combat that we are seeing, though, out on the racetrack at the moment here at France. Of course, we saw Jimmy Storm made that strategy call to stay out. How well is that going to pay? He still leads away by 11 seconds. I think he's still up for a good result here in the Racing Point, but he's got to try and make the most of it. As Invictus has a clear on it, trying to chase him down. Invictus has a 1.3 second advantage over Clausen, but adds also a 2-lap fresher tyre advantage, so you can try and use that to pull away Invictus, your pole setter, your net race leader. Now he can try and stretch his legs out there. If Clausen can hang with him, though, it maybe shows a bit of weakness for Invictus. You'd think with that 4/10 advantage he had in qualifying that he'd be able to make the most of it. There's contact from the back, seen Rambo going round as he was battling away with Freak Frog. He emerges, they're all on fresh hard tyres, and seeing Rambo, though, caught spinning down there at turn 8, the rejoins, doesn't actually lose any on-track positions, but he does fall into the clutches of Hulkenberg Silas behind, and there you can see Rock City back there in the background as well. What a disastrous race for the Mercedes, though, has Tornheim lighting him up, heading down there. Rock City, though, what a disaster class this has been for the man that won the last race there back to. Has had a horrible time over there without a safety car. Seems like he's got almost no chance for significant points here today.
Yeah, 16th position for him, but he's on a set of hard compound of tyres, and they'll be trying to stretch that out as much as possible to go onto a set of softs towards the end of the race. So he might be in 16th for now, but he's got to rely on the likes of Shumi, NSL Storms AI, and Sappy King, especially, I think, to come into the pit lane. Jack Roos is now catching Clausen. In terms of the gap, Invictus is pulling away, but Clausen, as long as he stays within 3 seconds of Invictus, he has an advantage over him, because Clausen's got 3 seconds, and Invictus has got 6. So there's the main possibility, as I think Invictus did pick up a penalty, which we didn't catch. So that's why he's now got 6 seconds.
Yeah, and also most significantly at all, Jack Roos, who's running just behind Clausen, doesn't have any penalties. So he's at the moment, could be in the pound seat here, and he has fresher tyres than even Invictus has. So Jack Roos is a major player at the moment in this Grand Prix. We'll see how they work out, because Nilsson isn't far behind these guys. He's sticking with it, and he has the hard tyres. He can take those all the way to the end. So he's not out of this either. So there's a lot of different contenders that could be really shaping up for this one. Invictus has an error, so Jimmy Storm now comes into the pits. Is Rock City spinning?
Rock City round, just lost it by himself coming through turn 8. Not sure. He's got the car back going again, which is good to see, but it's a disaster from Rock City out on track. He was so looking forward to it. I saw him on Twitter earlier on. He was so looking forward to this race, and this race, sadly, has now gone to absolute pot for him. Jimmy Storm, by the way, came into the pit lane. He's going to rejoin, I think, in 7th position, easily in clear air as well. He can get those tyres to the end. I'm very concerned about the rest of them. Nilsson will possibly try and get those to the end, but everyone else has to make a pit stop. So now Jippy Storm, I did say staying out would be possibly the best thing for him in the longer term, and he looks like he's listened, because he's now on a set of hards. These guys are on wearing mediums. Game on. Halfway through.
Let's see what he can make of it then. Less than 3 seconds to catch. To Shumi up in front that still has to make a pit stop. We knew that for sure. So then he's got quite a substantial gap up to the top 5. As Jack Roos getting very close to Clausen, actually, in that battle over P2. And Clausen at the moment not able to match Invictus' leading pace. But Jack Roos at the moment looks like he may be able to if he can try and find some clean air. But he's still at the moment stuck in the rear wing of the Haster. Gets a little bit out of shape coming out of turn 11. But just about holds on to it. Clausen, though, is not really taking the right lines for most of these corners. I think he's maybe just struggling for grip out there at the moment. And how long is he going to stay on those tyres before he makes his second and final pit stop here in this French Grand Prix? So Jack Roos, can he get a better run at it there? He does have about the same amount of ERS, but he's using the overtake. Now he's going to go for it there. Jack Roos for second place on the road. Lays on the inside line for turn 1. Can he get it stopped and turn in? Can he get it moved to stuck? Clausen cannot hold it right outside. And Jack Roos, 007, now runs in second place out there on the track. So brilliant from Jatros, and there were no penalties to his name. He can really just focus on his own race, has fresher tyres than Invictus. Jatros at the moment in the Renault, I'd say may even be the favourite to win this race. 6 seconds of penalties for Invictus. Jatros looks very comfortable. If he loses less than 3 seconds to Invictus, he looks absolutely set for this one, but we still have half the race ahead of us.
The sniper there shot his shot. That's a 007 reference right there. Yeah, terrible. Invictus leads 3 seconds. He is beginning to pull away still, though. Javri's in second, Clausen now in third. Mays latching on to the back of Nilsson just ahead of him. Nilsson's having a really good race so far. Looking at the position gains, he's only gained 3 positions, but I honestly think he might be driving better than anybody in the top 5, I would say, at this stage of the race. He's just really kept himself to himself, kept at it. He's now getting Mays onto the back of him, which is expected. Jibby Storm also on the back of Shumi, looking to try and get the move done now in towards turn 11. Can he possibly think about that? Shumi will run out wide on the camera of the corner, and Jibby Storm, it's like taking candy from a baby. He is through and he's up into P6.
Now with a 10-second gap to make up to the top 5. Let's see where they can make it at. It's going to be a very tall order, I think, for Jimmy Storm to be able to climb any higher. But he is penalty free at the moment, so keep an eye on that. Let's see what he can make of that position that he has. Nilsson is still, I'd say, one of the favourites, but he does have a 5-second penalty to his name, which he won't be able to serve if he wants to stay out to the end of the race. So Nilsson may be slightly disadvantaged on that front, so he's going to have to try and work with that to stay out in front of Mays. But he is within 2 seconds of Clausen, and he is running a decent enough pace for when these guys come into the pits. The question is, as I expect that the likes of Invictus, Jatros, Clausen, Mays, they'll probably be in the next sort of 5 laps or so, and it will probably be for soft tyres, maybe mediums if they plan on going a little bit earlier and trying to run a bit more of a cautious strategy. We'll see if that all works out in the end, but I think it will be a soft stint to end it for most of those guys. We'll see when they come in and if they can try and make up their ground, because you expect the likes of Invictus, Jatros, Clausen and Mays to have quite a bit to make up on Nilsson, who at the moment, if you can still just sit with it, he's actually caught Clausen on this lap. He's doing such a good job with things at the moment to hang with them, but can he hang on to it as the rest of the front runners are going to charge at him, surely, in the final few laps of the race?
Yeah, just sitting on board there, Sapmi King got the move done on Salas through the final corner. Salas has actually got right side end plate damage, but I'm not sure where he's picked that up. Whether it's contact, he ran massively wide there coming through turn 6 and out of turn 7. But he's picked up right side end plate damage, and I don't know where he picked that up. Either it was earlier on in the race and he hasn't repaired it, as Clausen is in from 3rd position. So Javris went past him. Clausen now into the pit lane. That's a really early pit stop for a set of soft compound of tyres. I think he has to go onto another set of mediums. He has to. Yeah. He's going to try and respond to the likes of Maka and Schmidtsky, possibly.
Yeah, it's going to be medium tyres for the Haas. So he is the first of the front runners to blink. And what will the rest of them decide to opt for? We still have 3 drivers on relatively similar aged medium tyres, still with that option on the table where they try and stretch it a little bit further, maybe sacrifice an undercut for soft tyres at the end of the race. I actually think that's a good strategy call for Clausen. We'll see what he can make of it though, coming to the end, and he's going to have to try and chase down Maka up in front. Maka has actually worked himself into a decent position himself here, now running in 2nd place, no penalties to his name, and tyres that could possibly get to the end of the race. Is that Mays and Nilsson?
Yeah, Mays down the inside, absolutely. Danny ricked it down the inside, down in towards turn 8. Gets the move done. Nilsson, though, is going to try and fight back the German. He's on a sort of hard compound of tyres. Now, these guys are going to be on the same they're going to be on the same tyres in terms of the tyre wear, I think. So Nilsson can easily try and stay onto the back of Mays. As soon as I say that, he commentator's curse, he runs wide. Mays also runs wide, though, so my commentator's curse has now turned into a half commentator's curse. Mays in 3rd. Nilsson in 4th position. Clausen, by the way, came out in clear air, and that is Mays going into the pit lane, into the pits from 3rd.
So he is, I expect, mimicking Clausen's strategy. So we'll see how he's able to emerge in this fight. I still think this race is really on. Invictus looks slightly quicker at the moment than Jatros. That gap now sitting around 4 seconds. If he continues to plug away at that, he might be able to offset that penalty advantage. Now, where is Mays going to emerge here? I suspect he'll probably be between Clausen and Schmidtsky, but let's see where the Mercedes is actually going to come out there. Clausen is rapidly chasing down Maka. We'll see there. So Here we go, that Maze is going to come out there. Where's Shvetsky actually? Shvetsky is going to be close on the exit actually. Can Maze just about hold on to it?
Ooh.
We will just make it in the end. Mac up ahead picks up a penalty. That is going to compromise him. He was one of the front runners that was penalty free. That is not the case anymore. So Maze just about staying ahead of Shvetsky. But that undercut from Clausen has really given him the advantage at the moment. He now runs over 4 seconds clear, trying to chase down Maka. But Clausen has to be careful here because we know that Maka has a little bit of desync issues. So the Haas has to be a little bit wary of how he handles the Ferrari. If he isn't careful enough there, Maka may not be able to see him going for the overtake. Incidents can be caused. We hope that's not the case with Clausen chasing him down. He's going to have to be wary with how he approaches this potential overtake.
Rapidly closing as Maka gets it all out wide coming through turn 9. Do you know what? I would use up a little bit of VRS at this point and a little bit of overtake mode to try and get past Maka on the run towards turn 10, because that Ferrari has a really unstable car and Invictus is into the pit lane from the lead.
And gets a penalty for his troubles. That's really going to hold him back. He now has 11 seconds of penalties. 11 in total. So that is really going to hurt him. He's there, I think, on a very unlikely shot of winning this race. At the moment, their Invictus looks so good for him at that stage, but it's really, really suffering now for the McLaren driver. Where will he emerge? I suspect it will be medium tyres going on yet again, and he now will get out the pits. I suspect a little way ahead of this battle. Look at Clausen though. He is now onto the rear wing. Oh, Maka towards turn 1. He's lighting it up to the inside line. It's going to be, it's very, very close on the entry to the corner, but Clausen will get it done. And up in the second place, Maka had to get out of that one. He squeezed and squeezed, edged him right over to the inside line, and nearly came together. They just about avoided contact, and Clausen now runs 6th, with Schumi, who still hasn't pitted on those hard tyres. Now, right in his sights, right in his crosshairs, as they line up the exit. Coming through turn 7, turn 9 now gets a penalty. He's a little bit further down the field at the moment, but now, lining on the inside line, Clausen will easily cruise past Schumi, and now runs inside the top 5. He's about 2 seconds behind Invictus, but Invictus now with that penalty, that for speeding in the pit lane. Just the sheer quantity of penalties that he has, 11 seconds now in this race. Invictus may well win this race on track, but to win it in terms of penalties when they're applied is going to be extremely unlikely. As Maka now moves past Schumi up in a 2nd place now for the Ferrari.
Yeah, really easy move from Maka. He'll try and keep on to the back of Clausen, but Clausen, with Jack Roos now into the pit lane, this is where it gets interesting, because Jack Roos was about 3.5 seconds off Invictus. So this is where we are going to come into play in terms of the pit stop. It's something like 22 seconds, I think, a pit stop around here, if I'm not mistaken, in France. So it is going to be quite close, I think. Javrous is out of his pit box. Invictus is out of the final corner. And I think Invictus is going to be well ahead of Javrous, possibly. Yep. And I think Clausen might even get Javrous coming out of the pit lane as well. He will. Very easily indeed. Javrous, that overcut has really not worked. He's been overtaken by Maka, but he filters in just behind him, out on track, and he's got relatively clear air for now, but he will begin to catch it. Maze as well, catching the back of Schumi, and is catching my eye, certainly, for possible P5 out on track. He could even pick up a position, P4, P3, you never know where this could go. Maze has kept it clean so far as well, along with Javrous. Everyone else that has pitted, Maka will still have to pit, I do believe. Invictus, Clausen, Invictus and Clausen certainly have all got penalties. Here comes Maze on the back of Schumi.
Wow, easy.
And there goes Maze off the back of Schumi, and he's through and he's up to 7th. That is the easiest overtake you'll see all night.
Maze cruising past Schumi, and Schumi on aging, almost dead hard tyres. Really just cannot hold that back, and surely he's going to be pitting very, very soon. We'll see how far the Red Bull can charge in the back half of this race. Invictus has put some distance between himself and Clausen. He is performing very well at the moment on this fresh set of mediums, but he needs to charge even further, and he needs to get Jimmy Storm very, very shortly. He's right on the rear wing of the Racing Point, heading out of turn 12, but there is nowhere to go, no way through, and he has to set back, and he's losing time to Clausen as it stands. So the move needs to come soon, and Jimmy Storm is holding it back. So here we go now. On to lap 20 is Javrous and Maka, battling away. Javrous round the outside and gets the move done in a turn 15. Brilliant stuff as Invictus cruising past Jimmy Storm. Now runs 2nd. It's a McLaren 1-2. Nelson may yet still don't have to pit, and he has a 12-second lead. If he can take those tires to the end, he is tight on fuel. He will be tight on tyres, but with less than 8 laps to go, can Nilsson do this for a likely victory? He drove so well in the hards at the start. Can he hang on there? He has a huge advantage at the front of this race.
A likely victory. It could be a likely 1-2 as well for McLaren, because Invictus will really pull away from Jibby Storm over these next few laps. And don't doubt me when I say this, I think it could be a position where McLaren could be 1-2 all night. Division 4, by the way, just finished. So if you are tuning in now from Division 4, you've came on board. We're still about 7 laps from the end. I don't know what caused us to be 7 laps from the end. Cough, cough, drivers joining in qualifying. Nilsson leads though from Invictus in second, Jibby Storm in third, Klaus in fourth, Jatrus fifth, Maka in sixth, Mays in seventh, Schumi in eighth, Schmidtski ninth, Gronk in 10th, Torenheim 11th, Hulkenberg in 12th, Sapney King 13th, Storm 14th, Steen Ramble 15th, Rock City's gone for a fastest lap attempt in 16th, and Silas down there in 17th. Luckily, he has repaired that front wing damage though, as Nilsson still leads, still continues on, 6 more laps to go for the leader, but look at how the gap is closing. Invictus with 11 seconds worth of penalties, Nilsson with 8. If Jibby Storm can keep on the back of Invictus by 11 seconds, which is really not going to be impossible at all, I think honestly Nilsson and Invictus might have no chance. But yeah, I contradicted myself at the beginning of the lap there, didn't
I? We'll see though how this is going to unfold, but yeah, it is just such a confusing prospect we have. There's a mix of strategies that are all gonna converge in the last few laps. This race is going to be so exciting to watch. I will say that I have used the last of my drink supply for this race, so I'm going to be on my own now for the end of this. So hopefully we get to the end safe and sound on our end. Of course, it has been a rather exhausting commentary for the second week running for us, but of course the show must go on. So let's continue things in. And look at how quickly Nilsson is being reeled in. Those hard tyres, I don't think are finding the grip, because Invictus is catching well over a second a lap at this stage, as Jatrus gets a penalty. And how much will that hold him back?
Ooh.
Now, no longer clean. So Jatrus, he looked like one of the favourites for this one, now has that nullified and has Klaus now ahead of him on track. But that's still sticking with him, as now Smetsky on Schumi back there up in the 8th place now in the Williams.
Yeah, easy moved up the hill and towards turn 10. Freak Gronk is right on the back of Schumi as well. Schumi is still going on those tyres, and Freak Gronk late on the brake. Schumi just decided to dive out of that one. Nilsson's into the pits from the lead of the race. So Nilsson not making that to the end. He's under a set of soft compound of tyres. He will come out ahead of Schmidtski. He's got a 5-second time penalty, which will be deducted, of course, from his time now at the end of the race, as he served that now up. And Nilsson, now, I've just said literally he might come out ahead of Schmidtski. I'm now not so sure, to be honest. Schumi's finally in from the pits in 8th.
Yeah, I thought that Schumi might be doing a no pit stop challenge for that being that has been taken away from us. Nilsson does emerge behind the 2 Williams drivers, so that 5-second penalty really cost him dearly. He's got 3 seconds of penalties now, and some very fresh and very fast soft tyres now under him to try and make the ground there at the end of this race. So it looks like it's all starting to settle down up at the front, but certainly the intrigue still remains, as Jibby Storm is doing such a remarkable job at the moment. He's still keeping those tyres alive. They're only 9 laps old, and he is still keeping that going. He's penalty free. He's quite a ways clear of the chasing pack. And he only needs to stay within 11 seconds of Invictus. I think that Jibby Storm now could well be the heavy favourite for this one if he can just keep it on the road. I don't see anyone that could really stop him at this point.
He could afford to pick up a penalty, to be honest, as well, because Clausen has got 3 seconds behind him. Jack Roos has got 3 seconds. Mack has got 3 seconds. If he adds on to that, as Mays now, round the outside through turn 11, gets the move done on Macca. Brilliant stuff, as we ride on board very late on there, and Macca actually shoots in front of Mays, apparently. He teleported. That's alien activity right there on our screen. And Macca leads now Mays again for P5 and P6. I wonder what heavenly force forced them into that position there. Mays now on the back, trying to get this move done cleanly and fairly, and hopefully non-alien-like out on track, and now Mays is through. Finally on Macca, he had to wait for a corner or two, but he's through and he's up into 5th position. Hopefully Macca does not use that alien force to try and get the move done. Nilsson is side by side with Freak Wonk as well, down towards turn 1, round the outside. Oh, lovely stuff by Nilsson. He had the fresher tyres, he had the metal grip, he had the traction, and he's through and he's up into 8th position. don't be surprised when I say this, Nolson, without his penalties, I think would have been top 5 easily.
Well, let's see what he can make of it. But he would have been ahead of those two Williams, and with a big tyre advantage to try and chase down. I think that may well have been the case. But of course, that is what went down, and that is what he's going to have to live with. Now, look at the closing speed he has on Schmitzky, but he's run out of VRS. He's running out of momentum to the end of the straight, but he will still get alongside and through. Now, in a P7 there. He moves forward now in front of Schmitzky. It's Hulkenberg now round, coming out onto the straight, then he emerges, going through turn 7. The Haas spinning, he's now down in the 12th. Storm's AI car will cruise through, and yet again, an incredible drive from Storm, as now Shimmy on the attack, heading through now on those fresh soft tyres, and I don't think the AI driver is going to be any match. Through goes Shimmy, now runs 12. After that rather peculiar strategy, now Shimmy on the attack. 5 seconds to make up on Satmy King. Can he try maybe snatch a top 10? But I think with Tornheim's advantage, that's going to be very unlikely. Shimmy may not be able to get higher than 11. Jack Roos attacking Clarkson now for third place. He gets through. Brilliant from Jack Roos. He has 3 seconds though to make up. Clausen was really struggling those last few laps. Couldn't quite make the most of it. He now runs third out there on the track and Clausen down to 4th. Nelson a predictable fast lap. But these guys, Jadros and Clausen, I don't think they can make it up then. 3 seconds is still the gap, and Jimmy Storm at the moment is maintaining that gap to the chasing pack.
He is indeed. 4.3 seconds, Jimmy Storm to Invictus. Javroos is keeping up with Jimmy Storm as well. Clausen still in there pitching in. Mays now through on Maka. He's not putting away at the race I would have expected. Certainly Maka's keeping those tyres alive pretty much to the end of the race. Here comes Clausen on the back of Javroos, but not close enough. I can see all of you tuning in from the end of Division 4. Yes, we had to restart the lobby, and yes, we are still going. Lap 24 out of 27, about to go on to lap 25. It's Invictus who leads, Jimmy Storm second, Jack Roos in third. Free Gronk, however, the two Williams battling. Free Gronk is through on Schmitzky on lap all the tyres, and he's through up into 8th, but Schmitzky's got no penalties, remember.
Yeah, Schmitzky has a 3-second advantage in that regard, so we'll see what he can try and make of it. I have to say, this new penalty graphics really helpful. Silas now retires in that pit lane. So it won't be any sort of safety cars to bring out. Silas has had enough there. It has not been a good night at all for the Racing Point driver. You can say that for sure then. So let's keep an eye out, because Jadros is making a late charge here. He is getting to chase down. Will Jimmy Storm's tires hold up? They now have 12 laps on them, as Clausen now is coming back, and Jadros a little bit heading for turn 1, but he has to just sit back for the moment then in third place. I am seeing a bit of lag going on there, so there's a bit of confusion out there. In fact, I will say that the move that you saw from Mays on Maka at turn 11, I did not see that on my screen, so I think there's a little bit of desync issues here in this lobby in the last few laps of this race.
This is typical. If it's anything like last night, I'll probably end up ending off the stream at the end of the race. I think Jack Roos has left. Jack Roos has left the session, I think, has he? He's desynced, he's ghosted on my end. I'm on board with Clausen. And now he's back where he was in 16th position, apparently, there. There is something going on, certainly here with Jack Roos. And I can't explain what's going on, if I've got to be honest. Invictus still leads. Jimmy Storm in second. Clausen is 4th. Jack Roos is 3rd still. Answers on the postcard.
It looks to me as if Jack Roos still has control of his car, but yeah, he's completely lagged out from me. He seems to be phasing in and out of being a ghost car in my screen. Yeah. That is extremely odd. So this lobby has just been nuts. I've got to say, that's so unusual. But the movement of Jack Roos's car suggests that it's still a human driver. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but Jack Roos looks like he's still on for this thing. He can still fight for this podium. But yeah, the Renault driver in a rather unusual situation. We'll see if he can hold on in front of Clausen though for that 3rd place.
There was a yellow flag. There's yellow flags now appearing in Sector 1. All of a sudden,
Maka's got a puncture.
Maka, front left. Didn't see that at all. He must have just picked it up coming into the pit lane.
Yeah, so he's made that late change. I'm not sure if that's what the yellows were for. It seems to be yellows wherever Jack Roos's car is on the track. Now I'm seeing car come out the pit lane. That's Silas? No, that's Silas that left the session. What on earth is going on there? I cannot keep up with this. Now Jack Roos is back in the 3rd place.
It's fixed itself. Yeah, Clausen right on the back of Jack Roos. Jack Roos apparently is 24 seconds behind Jimmy Storm. Yeah, do not look into that at all. You can see the Racing Point literally just ahead of him out on track. Jibby Storm is there in second. I would say that's a gap of about 2.5 seconds between Jibby Storm and Jack Roos. Jibby Storm obviously no penalties. He can wrap up this race, but Invictus is still getting away. Clausen on the back now of Jack Roos for what appears to be third position out on track. I really hope we can see out the final lap of the race here as well. Unlike last night in Division 2, Invictus leads the way from Jibby Storm in second, Jack Roos third, Clausen fourth, Mays in fifth. Nolson is gaining, but he's not getting enough ground on the back of the top 5. I think he's going to be settling for 6th, possibly. Freakwrong 7th, Schmidtsky and 8th. There's nothing now really going on, apart from the battle for 3rd.
Yeah, let's keep an eye out, even if we do have some rather funky time. Where apparently the gap on my end between Clausen and Jack Roos is 2.5 seconds, which it quite clearly is not. So, yeah, I deeply apologise for all the issues that have gone on tonight. It's just Codemasters and it's just PSN.
There we
what
are.
can you say?
It's fixed itself.
And now this is sorting itself out there so we can have a proper look at how everything's unfolding at the end of this race. Very, very odd, but Jimmy Storm, he wasn't even on our radar, I think, for the start of the race. What a sensational drive in the Racing Point. He's headed for this now. Surely has it going as now. Penalty Clausen. Surely Mays. In fact, Mays is in range. He may well. I think he may just miss out on third place, but I think Clausen seems to be almost a done deal. I think Clausen may well have to settle for 5th on this occasion.
Yeah, Mays, still no penalties, 2.8 seconds. That gap is still going to come down across the course of this final lap of the race. Sorry that there's been not many overtakes, to be honest, on this final lap of the race, but there's one man and one man only that's going to be doing it out on track, and that is Invictus. Invictus is now coming through turn 10 for the final time here in France, and this has been a sensational drive from him, no matter how many penalties he's got. Do you know what? Actually, I've just clicked on, he might even lose the podium position. Mays might still get 3rd. I'm just clicking on there. That might be, it's what, 11.7 seconds. 11 seconds Invictus's penalty. Keep an eye on this. Invictus now coming around the final couple of corners out on track. He's still pulling away from Jibby Storm, and around the final corner comes Invictus. And Invictus, many numbers, is going to pick up, I think, his 2nd win overall this season. And Invictus across the line wins here in France, but he will not, because Jibby Storm, with no penalties, is going to win it across the line. Jibby Storm will win. Invictus will be 2nd. Jack Roos is 3rd. Clausen has crashed coming across the wall, and Mays misses out by a 1/10 of a second on 3rd.
My.
So unlucky. Clausen, I know he had a penalty, but he shouldn't have done that coming towards the line.
Run out of fuel, I think. Oh! Freakfrog runs into the back of Nilsson. Nilsson ran out of fuel.
And Schmidtsky's
going to get them all. And Schmidtsky moves up there. Freakfrog 7, Nilsson 8. Tornheim will come through 9. Packer.
Packer.
In 9th place in the end, jumps Tornheim. Sammy King 11. No, he gets jumped by Tornheim. And Schumi, yeah, gets up to 10th in the end. Stain Rambo jumps Sammy King. Storms the car, will cross the line down there in 14th position in the end, as Rock City and Hulkenberg will round off the finishers. That was a very odd race that I'm glad is over in the end, but Jimmy Storm, well, what do you make of that? He started 16th on the grid and he's won it with no safety cars throughout the race. There was one VSC, but wow, what a sensational drive from the Racing Point.
Really great drive by the Racing Point, kept it clean. Jibby Storm wins out on track. Do not be surprised if you see him. Oh, he doesn't. I thought he was going to get driver of the day, but Maka has been voted driver of the day by the in-game fans here in France. And there's a Racing Point to the top step of the podium. Jibby Storm wins, Invictus 2nd, Jack Roos in 3rd. Shall we get them in?
You know what? Sure, let's do this. It's been a rather exhausting stream, but let's cap it off with a little interview. Hopefully we get some of these drivers in.
I know Invictus will certainly be up for an interview. Whether Jibby Storm will be, of course, is a different thing. And it's good to see as well the Renault being on the top 3 steps of the podium, I should say, with, of course, Jack Roos finishing in 3rd in the end. But there is your result. Jibby Storm, 16th on the grid, takes it from Invictus in 2nd, who started pole. He controlled the race. He did everything right in 2nd. Jack Roos in 3rd. Outscores Mays, but does not outscore him enough to take the championship lead. Mays now leads by, I think, 3 points now out on track. Clausen on his debut in 5th. Really good performance. Just need to keep up the consistency in the race. Schmidtsky in 6th. Freakwrong 7th. Nilsson in 8th. Maka got 18th up to 9th. I don't know how they haven't given drive of the day to Jippy Storm. It's an absolute disgrace. Maka 18th down up to 9th. 31.1 is the fastest lap for him. Shumi in 10th, Tornheim 11th, Steen Rambo in 10th, Sapmi King in 13th, Storms AI Car 14th. He will not pick up the points. Rock City 15th, Hulkenberg 16th, Silas and Passels, the two DNFers out on track. And from France, we do of course go to Britain, but we do have our first interviewee into the interview room now, from the commentary room into the interview room, and it is of course our winner here in France, unexpected to say none the least. It's Jippy Storm. Jippy Storm, can you hear us first of all?
Wow, I have to say, what a good race, man. I was, my heartbeat, it's, I can't understand, man. I just can't explain.
Somebody sounds a bit speechless, I think, but
Yeah.
just talk us through your race, because it was a fantastic drive from you. You kept it so consistent. That VSC really was the pinnacle for you winning this race, I think.
Yeah. On the start, some people were sleeping. I don't know why, but yeah, just great pace. I have to say that those mediums, I could go longer, but I thought no, I'm gonna play it safe. And yeah, turned out great. Yeah.
It did.
And yeah, I'm speechless still.
He is speechless. Yeah, fantastic drive from you. Dan, any questions?
Did you know about Invictus penalties that was going to benefit you at the end? And if so, did that change your sort of approach and mentality to the end of the race, basically, and the way you applied yourself to it?
Yeah. On the left side of my screen, I saw a new thing that they added, the penalty box, and I saw 11 seconds. And on the last lap, I thought I'm gonna give it everything. I do not want to get overtaken behind me. I just want to give it everything, and it's worked out. Yeah, amazing.
Excellent. Well, very well done then. Great drive today.
Thank you.
And my
Thank
final
you.
question before you go: Britain next week. How do you think you're going to get on?
I don't know. I'm gonna practice a lot because I race without racing lines, so I have to get the braking points in my head. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Even more impressive. Yeah, I don't race without racing. I race with racing lines, so I'm jealous. There we are. That's why I'm here in the commentary box and you're there out on track. But we'll let you go and enjoy your evening. If you're old enough, I'm sure you'll have an alcoholic drink on us.
I'm not old enough. Still have to
Terrible.
wait 5 years.
Have one anyways. Nobody will know.
Nah, nobody will know.
Great talking to you, Jibby.
See
Fantastic
you,
stuff.
Thank you, man.
No worries. See ya.
See ya.
I've been informed as well by Invictus that he has no mic, which is fantastic stuff. So no mic from Invictus, and that is an interview that we all have to say for Jippy Storm. He literally sends me a message every single race. He's been having so many concerns about picking up race bans, about his Wi-Fi connection last week certainly, and if he was getting a race ban. Did not deserve that at all, and he didn't pick up a race ban, and then look what's happened. He's won here in France. But next week, Dan, we go to our home track. It's Silverstone, the home of British motorsport. What on earth can we expect from Division 5 around there?
Hopefully just the one race this time. Yeah, I think after back-to-back lobby issues, I think that's genuinely my main expectation. But of course, I'm looking forward to a great race. Silverstone's always a great race. Fantastic circuit, iconic, one that should never go off the calendar, even though that was in doubt at some point. So hopefully that never comes to fruition. But yeah, I love this track, and I can't wait to see these guys go at it yet again next week.
And you'll be joining me the day before my birthday as well.
Oh, would you look at that?
Would you look at that? My birthday week begins next week, of course, on Tuesday, but our week for League Racing TV begins on Monday. CWC, Malk will be taking you through that one. I believe it's round 13 of the championship, if I'm not mistaken, off the top of my head. He'll be taking you through that, 8 PM UK time. Tune in for that. It is going to be fantastic stuff. Tuesday, of course, Division 1. Myself and Kevin McGinley in one of his final commentaries now within season 2. He's going to be taking you through, of course, alongside me with Britain. Then Wednesday we've got Esports Masters League. I was about to say Sprint League there, but Esports Masters League. Myself and Dan are going to be commentating on that in separate divisions, of course. You're alongside Aidan. I'm alongside my good co-commentator friend Kieran McGinley for Wednesday, and that's in Premier and League 1. 7 o'clock for League 1, 8:30 for Premier if you do want to tune in for that. Thursday it's Division 2 and Division 3. Myself and Mike Edwards taking you through that one, and then it's Aidan Carter and Conti taking you through Division 3, and then we're back at it again next week, Division 4 and 5, same night on a Friday night. You wouldn't miss us for the world. Well, maybe. Maybe. And on a personal note, thank you so much to everyone that has made us reach 700 subscribers. If we can get to 800 before Christmas, then we're absolutely laughing out on track. And indeed, in the commentary box as well. It's been a pleasure having Dan alongside me in the commentary box, of course, as always, and we'll do it all again next week in Britain. But for now, thank you so much for watching here in Division 5. Please stay safe out there. Please keep an eye of those close to you. We'll see you next week in Britain. For myself and Dan, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.
Bye.